Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, December 27th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread. First two cards we are starting our day off with today are the Five of Cups in its reversal in combination with, I love it, our Ace of Wands in its reversal. There's no, like, honestly, the way we're starting today, there's no point crying over spilled milk. There's no point crying over spilled milk. Like there's a little bit of this energy here. And I want to explain, one of the things that we were seeing and recognizing right now has to do with being able to transmute anything that is energetically negative into a positive. That's not easy. We were talking about this heavily in yesterday's reading. A lot of this work that we've been identifying and working through right now is recognizing what energetic resilience feels like. And this, I have to tell you right now, if you feel a little bit like you're struggling right now, especially in the realms of confidence, I want to tell you, and I'm going to remind you, that Mars is in its retrograde until February. It's knocking us right in the confidence area. It's gonna create that sense of doubting yourself, of not trusting your instincts, of second guessing yourself. But this is just your daily reminder, and I'm gonna remind you of this every single day that we go through this until we're out of this Mars retrograde. Confidence and courage are two different things, and courage does not exist where confidence is. It's simply, you don't need them. They're not the same thing. When you have confidence, you do not require courage. Courage is what you do when confidence is lacking. So we see even now that being able to take some of that work, right? Like taking something that feels like an energetic negative and finding the positive in it, working through that, like really, like this is what we talk about when we speak about crafting in any way, shape, or form. Crafting and manifestation does not require one to wait for the circumstances to be right. It requires you to be able to channel and navigate where you are to the best of one's own ability. It's frustrating, right? And if you're feeling energetically frustrated, you're probably doing something right, because that feeling of frustration is the identification point of trying to navigate to perfection, right? Remembering that perfection is a standard that we built for ourselves. It's an aspiration that is always somewhat unattainable. This is what is allowing a lot of energy to kind of be in this midpoint. I want to say there's a little bit of this. And this is going to be the anticipation energy leading up to this black moon in Capricorn, right? It's that doubling down on oneself. It's that feeling of energetic certainty or working towards intentionality. When we're building into a pathwork of intentionality, it doesn't require us to find the perfect circumstances. That's how we move towards our manifestations. We create it with our own hands. Now, this is happening in different ways right now across the frequency cycles. For masculine and feminine energy right now, in separation, I just want to tell you, I'm seeing some of the most profound changes that are potentially occurring. And if you're going through that pathwork right now, I just want to keep giving a lot of encouragement to a lot of the energy in separation, because we've even been seeing that for a lot of this energy in separation, healing those wounds of trust, they can feel counterintuitive, right? They can be those moments that it feels like you're doing something that is counterintuitive because it's the thing that caused the harm in the first place, right? Is this the energy that is moving forward, not looking back at all? Absolutely not. Why would you not honor one's own journey by being able to look back and appreciate the lessons that you've learned thus far, right? Is this the energy that holds on to the past too tightly and it creates bitterness and they don't allow themselves to move forward? No, when you hold on to the past too tightly, you can't move away from it. So we see even now that for a lot of that energy, doing that work, building into that sense of feeling stability, because I keep seeing that this is the energy that is working towards doing something similar to what they did in the past, but utilizing the power of discernment as it relates to the intentionality of the potential counterpart, right? that sense or space that prioritizes building energetic bridges. And even here, I want to say, we saw even yesterday, there may be some energy right now that isn't in tangible contact while being in separation that feels more clarity and certainty than someone may have navigated deeply invested in a partnership in the past. Why are we seeing this? Because this is a lot of the energy that is recognizing that the healing that we provide to each other in the context of partnership is built upon and based upon the clarity that we prioritize and create for one another, right? This isn't the energy that's building into a context of a partnership that feels like they're stepping off into the abyss. This is the energy that is articulating their anxieties and fears and doing everything they can to light the way for one another as they proceed forward. So we see even now that for a lot of that energy, experiencing that, working through that, it's bittersweet. Because this is the energy that is getting the clarity and closure that they need from past experiences via the healthy energetic connections that they're finding in the present. And even here, like there's a little bit of that starting up here and that certainty that articulates upon building trust, which is you take that step forward and then you feel that sense of security in doing so. And then you take another step forward, right? A lot of this, like, I want to say it's like the invisible bridge, if you will, of trust that's being formed right now between these energetic connections. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, I'm just recognizing and identifying that for a lot of this energy right now coming into divine union, this is like getting stuff done today. This is just planning projects, getting things done, working through. I even see here, like this is the energy that like is working through. If there was any of that turbulence that they were experiencing, particularly during that eclipse cycle, this is the energy that says when you're working on pathwork of intention, it's not done towards attention. It's not done towards effect. So this is why I see there's a little bit of that energy that is finding that peace and closure via V moving forward in that way, because this is the energy that articulates and states to those around them that intentionality is such that what they're creating is already existent. Right? That point of articulation and telling another is not based in terms of trying to create a point of change, but rather to notify someone that such a change has already occurred. So we see even now there's a lot of stability that's happening right now with a lot of these energetic connections that is being articulated with the excitement that they're bringing forth as it relates to making those plans, laying those plans for the future. A lot of that resolution energy that we're seeing that is often articulated on that shift from Sagittarius season into Capricorn season, because you'll remember that the Sagittarius energy is inventive and then Capricorn is grounding, which is why we often have the time for resolutions. It seems to be now. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within divine union, I see even now there's a lot of this work about and I told you, this is more fine tuning. This is more details. This is taking care of things that didn't necessarily have time to before. This is like a lot of picking up is what I see. It's like picking up to a certain extent. So a little bit of these and I told you, this is a little bit of that remnant nitpicking energy that we experienced during that Gemini full moon, being able to take some of that nitpicking and move it into a place that feels like it's effective. And that's still the only thing I'm going to keep reminding you guys of as we move into this new moon energy, which is if you're feeling very picky right now, it's potentially because of that Gemini full moon. And remember that pickiness is wonderful in untangling knots. But if you're moving it into the space of the egoic self, it could feel more like it can create provocations and snarls. So just be very intentional, particularly and especially if someone's coming towards you and they're not navigating that as well and they're projecting it outwards. Now, center card for today's spread is, we've got our Four of Swords in its upright. Now I gotta stress, we saw a lot of swords. We had swords in yesterday's reading, but the swords were effectively clearing up. All of the swords that we received in yesterday's reading were in the reversal. And we ended yesterday's reading with that Two of Swords in its reversal. So feeling a lot of that sense, like this is the work that we want to see during like Mars in like the Mars in retrograde cycle, which is finding that sense of energetic courage and letting that kind of steer the ship, if you will. So even here, this combination force that we're identifying between the Ace of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Four of Swords in its reversal, I see that there's a lot of energetic closure that is occurring right now, like across all of the frequencies. It's happening in different ways. Now, for a lot of the and it's going and the volume of significance is going to vary depending on where you find yourself on the frequency cycles. For masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now, again bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. This is feeling like a little bit those like small things, like tying up loose ends, working on things that you haven't had a moment or modality to do right now. There's a lot of that feeling of energetic nostalgia that is reinforcing the plans going forward, that's allowing for adjustment points right now. So it's a little bit of that nitpickiness, but it seems like a little bit of more of those like sweating on details, but sweating on important details, right? While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, this is a lot of that energy that is finding closure in anything that isn't comfortable with the level of stability that they're moving into at this time. It's a frustrating moment. It's just something that we have to recognize. When you're moving something into a deepening energetic commitment, recognizing and identifying those changes, working through them to a certain extent, it's bittersweet. And we saw even now that for a lot of the energy that's coming into divine union, that observation of those who feel that sense of support as you move deeper into a connection, those versus those who feel like they fall away when they find you in healthy connection. When you recognize and identify that occurring, there's not much that one can do to change it. But that's why we see even now, this is the energy that feels that sense of peace in the acknowledging and recognition of that sense of transformation, because this is the energy that doesn't feel like that was the intention. And that's why we see that they're effectively making peace with something in that way, because that is the energy that effectively feels that sense of peace and the hope that at some point that same sense of peace will be shared by those around them. Right? Because we saw that a lot of the energy coming into union right now has been doing work on partnership, potentially ever since that summer period during the eclipse cycle. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, I just keep seeing that there's something really profound that's occurring right now, because this is the energy that is articulating a lot about their past. And a lot of that work that we see that is occurring right now and being able to articulate a lot about the past here. Why do we see that there's so much of this openness and relationality to the past? And this is beautiful, because this is the amplification of the energy that is being able to talk about something that may have previously been unable to speak towards, because they recognize that they're no longer inhabiting the space that they feel like they're currently were occupying it, right? I just keep seeing that there's a lot of that energy that feels that easement in being able to articulate upon something specifically in that way, because there's something that feels when we're in a space that we're ready to heal, like we want to talk about something, right? Like we want to bring it forward, right? And this isn't the energy, I need to articulate and stress this. This isn't the energy that is feeling that way because this isn't the energy that's feeling that way because they're holding on to the past too tightly, right? This isn't someone that is obsessing over the past. This is someone that we're seeing even now, a lot of this energy holding that past lightly, looking at something with a point of nostalgia, because this is the energy that is articulating and comparing to one another what they experienced in the past and how the present is different, right? And that modality of being able to recognize and compare, this is the beauty of some of that contrast energy that we could anticipate and see that was occurring between that Gemini full moon, right? Versus the work into the new moon in Capricorn, the black moon. So we've got double new moon energy that counterparts the double full moon energy. So there's a lot of balance that is occurring right now via V, being able to recognize and observe points of comparison, the difference between doing something energetically with someone that moves in accordance to you versus feeling and recognizing those experiences in the past where it may have felt like you weren't making any progress because someone was moving oppositional to the directionality that you thought you were headed in with them. Continuing to get clarification, the next two cards in our 5-card spread for today are, we have here our 5 of Wands in its upright in combination with our 2 of Wands. Oh my goodness gracious, in its reversal. Pickiness is important, right? There's pickiness and there's pickiness. And this is what I'm going to keep saying again. If you're still feeling a little bit of that pickiness coming out of that Gemini full moon energy, right? It's not picky if it's important. It's not picky if it's important, right? And I see even now that there may be some energy that is healing from experiences in the past where someone told you that you were being too picky, that you were being told that you were being too picky about something. But this is the energy that's recognizing that some of that pickiness may have been important, right? That pickiness is only pickiness. Or someone calling something picky is when someone does not prioritize something the same way as you do, right? And I can see even now there's some energy in separation that is healing from experiences where someone was giving them problems or giving them like aggravation or causing harm by trying to articulate to someone that they were being too picky about something. But this is the energy that's healing in someone that is matching them in their pickiness because they're recognizing that it's not picky if it's important, right? It's only picky if you don't care about it. It's only picky if you don't want someone to care about it. So we see that there's a tremendous amount of healing that's happening right now. And in that moment that someone finds that sense of pickiness that's important, immediate closure in relationality to those past experiences. So a lot of this clearing of energy that I'm seeing right now this is happening even before the Capricorn like black moon arrives. This is like already starting up. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, I'm just seeing that for a lot of this energy coming into divine union right now, this is the energy that is feeling, if there's energy trying to pick apart a partnership, right? Like this is the energy that almost says like, hey, there is delicacy there. Be conscientious on what it is that you touch, right? Because that sense of working through, I can see that this is a lot of that energy that may have already articulated to someone the significance and value in relationality to what something means to them. So you can recognize and identify that if someone has already articulated the value that something has, the sacredness of an energetic connection, and someone is still picking at it, this is a lot of that energy that may be putting energetic distance between those energetic connections, because that's the difference. There's a lot of clarity I see that's happening right now for a lot of this energy coming into divine union, leading up to that black moon in relationality to the care, the conscientious that someone might put towards us when they're coming from a place of genuine care for what is best for us, as opposed to someone feeling energetically temperamental about seeing us move in pathwork, that they would rather see us in a different direction. So that's why I see there's a little bit of this protectiveness that is occurring right now for a lot of that energy that is moving deeper into divine union. Because if this is the energy that feels someone that's still trying to pick something apart after they've tried to clarify to them the sacredness of an energetic connection, you can see how that may be creating modalities of separation, modalities of someone stepping away from someone, even in the process of moving deeper into partnership, because they're not prioritizing the sanctity of those connections. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is deep within divine union, a lot of this work that we're seeing right now that is deep within divine union. This is feeling more like sweating over small details, or just doing a lot of this these small things leading up to the closure or of the cycle of the year, because I just see a lot of this energy right now picking things up where they left off, picking something up that they haven't picked up in a long time, being able to find a little bit of that extra, like I'm getting these little pockets of time that are allowing one to do things that one may have intended to do prior to the closing out of the energetic cycle. Continuing to get clarification between our Five of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Ace of Wands in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Eight of Cups in its reversal. There's a lot of this, I gotta say, there's a lot of this reversed cups energy here. But these two cards, I know typically we don't like seeing reversed cups, but honestly, if I have to see some reversed cups, these are the two cups that I don't mind seeing in their reversal, right? We've got these very important cups here, because specifically and particularly, this is the energy, and I'm going to show you right now, this is the conversation that we're having right now in relationality to pickiness, right? Because all of that work that we see even here, this is the energy that is being compassionate with themselves in the process, right? So for the energy deep within divine union right now, a lot of this work that we see is navigating and working on, again, I told you, it's like pickup work. It's like doing the things that you haven't had the time or opportunity to navigate prior to this point, right? And so I see even now, there's a little bit of that energy that holds themselves in a space of compassion, because being able to do so, that's the energy saying, good, I'm utilizing those little extra pockets of time energetically effectively. There's a lot of this, I want to say, picking up, clearing, if you will. This is all and this could be happening in the tangible way, someone organizing things or clearing things, or just taking things all, getting things knocked off one by one by one. I see a lot of lists here. I see a lot of check boxes. I just see trying to get as much done as possible in a short window of time. A lot of this a lot of this speeding up, if you will, prior to this new moon energy. Now for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is a lot of the opposite that I'm seeing. This is a lot of energy letting go right now. This is a lot of energy recognizing what they're letting go of as they move deeper into divine union, because I see a lot of plans that are being energetically made, but also that sense or space of letting go of what doesn't feel like it's energetically serving within the context of the partnership. And this is not and I need to stress this, because this is important. This is not energy that is letting go of priorities because they're moving deeper into partnership. This is energy that is recognizing what feels like it is in the alignment to the feeling of restoration, finding oneself in the space of being in partnership, and letting go of anyone that feels like they're taking that work too personally, right? So that's why this is feeling more energetically protective that we see right now as energy is moving deeper into union. While for a lot of this energy right now in separation, there's a lot of letting go. There's a lot of letting go right now that's happening right now in separation. And a lot of that, but I have to stress, the reason I see so much of this letting go that is occurring and why it feels positive, why it feels productive, is if this is the energy that is moving in the direction of doing something very, very similar to the way that they brought something forth to someone in the past, and is experiencing something very different. This is the energy that is both appreciative in how much they have changed in recognition of what they perceive, but also identifying the changes that can occur when we're moving in alignment with someone that shares our own sense of prioritization. So there's a lot of closure that potentially is happening right now as new partnerships are beginning, because we see that this is the energy that is getting that, like, that sense of awakening, if you will, by recognizing what was within their power to change versus what was outside of the self to experience. Continuing to get clarification between our Ace of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Four of Swords in its reversal. And again, I know we see reversals right now, but these are good cards to see in their reversal. We're never upset to see an Ace of Wands in any context. We've got here, like, that's what I said, a lot of that stabilization. This is all that Capricorn energy coming in. Like, setting those intentions, working in the context of the reality that you find yourself in, right? The one thing I will say that's rather lovely right now is there's no energy that's operating here from a state of illusion, right? This is the energy. And what's the beauty? Like, what is the beauty of not navigating from a state of illusion? Is it allows us to build in the context of what we find around ourselves, right? So we see that for a lot of energy right now, what is the gift that is happening for energy and separation? Recognizing the difference in feeling and building something that is tangible and real with someone. Recognizing and identifying, look at this, putting that leap of faith forward, setting one's own intention. The difference in building with someone and feeling the expediency and the stability that occurs when we share the same motivation and we share the same intention. That is healing from energetic connections wherein they were trying to build with someone and it felt like every brick you put down, someone was removing the brick when you turned around, right? Like those experiences where you're trying to build something and then every time you turn around, there's bricks. Where'd that brick go? Like the thing that you just put there is now gone or someone knocks it over. So I see even now, like, this is the energy that is feeling the stability of those healthy partnerships when one is invested in creating stability, right? You don't just stumble upon healthy partnership. You build it brick by brick. And so I see even now there's a lot of that energy that is recognizing and utilizing discernment to identify the difference between someone that says that they want something stable versus someone that actually works fundamentally and whose words match their action in relationality to trying to create something that is energetically stable. While for masculine and feminine energy coming in, and that's when you experience that, when you have that, you go, the whole time? like I can see a lot of energy being like the whole time and being like the whole time. So there's a lot of that energy that like has a little bit of that light bulb moment when that occurs, right? Because you see it only when you experience its opposite. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, I just see that a lot of this energy coming into divine union, this is the energy that does not want to articulate and try to defend something that they know is integral. I just hear the energy coming into divine union, articulating and saying, I don't want to have to repeat myself if I've articulated that something is energetically sacred and integral, right? We give someone, I can see the energy saying, we give someone the opportunity of being educated, and if they don't proceed, holding something sacred. I can hear energy saying, coming into divine union, I've told them they have to hold the temple sacredly. And if they're not holding the temple sacredly, they can't come in. Like, this is the energy going, if you can't hold it sacred, if you don't hold it sacred, you can't come in. I told you once, like, it's librarian energy. It's like, shh, like, this is the energy. It's like, thank you, shh. And if you can't hold it energetically sacred, this is the energy that says you can't come in, because this is a lot of that energy that says that ability, not wanting to have to defend themselves, not wanting to have to reassert something that they have articulated to another. A lot of this energy is like effectively saying that is not something that they feel that they need to like spend a lot of time articulating to another. It's something that they give someone the grace of knowing once, and then they build upon the context of recognizing someone that is respectful in that way, right? And that's why we see a little bit of this energy feeling a bit more protective during this time. While for masculine and feminine energy, that is deep within divine union, I just keep seeing a lot of this energy right now doing like more and more work, if you will, in relationality to building into a place of stability, right? So this is a lot of the energy that feels the stability of what they've created between themselves. And that's a nice thing. When you're in deep partnership, when you're in healthy partnership, you don't have to spend all of your time, effort, and energy trying to make sure the walls of the partnership are stable. It frees your hands up. So there's a lot of this energy that's just putting a lot of that focus right now on a lot of other things, which is why I see that for some of the energy right now, deep within divine union, it may feel something a little bit akin to hermit energy, because this is energy that may be working together, but is separate, feeling the stability of the sanctity that they've created around themselves via the healthy energetic partnership. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Four of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Five of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Page of Cups. Wow, in its reversal. A lot of inner child healing happening right now. A lot of inner child healing that's happening right now. It's having a different impact for masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine energy, again, this is feeling like, I feel like I see masculine energy, like I feel like masculine energy is a little bit of a metronome today. Like going back and forth between like work and play, work and play, work and play. There's like a little bit of this, like this is some masculine energy that's coming into a point of easement, if you will, and it's like it's a little bit like, and it's very like, it's like as long as it's balanced, it's like, and that's some of that Gemini full moon. I'm telling you, it's a little bit of this it's going to tell you if you feel like you're shifting back and forth right now. It's because we've got a lot of chirality that's happening right now, because we've got the Gemini full moon, so that's that doubling, right? And then we've got the double new moon energy. This is the black moon that we're moving towards in Capricorn, our second new moon of this cycle. So a little bit of this like finding attunement, moving between shifting gears, right? So like it's like the cruise control, but the cruise control that like shifts gears back and forth, right? So it's a little bit of that. For feminine energy right now, this is less that. This is feminine being very, very focused right now. And that's why I meant even now that for a lot of that energy, seeing that and working through that, this is why I see that a lot of the counterparts right now may be feeling that they're in those experiences where they're feeling a little bit like hermit energy, but they're still feeling very energetically connected. Because you see, when we're in healthy partnership, it doesn't require us to be exactly in the same space with each other all the time, right? It allows for that ability, or allows for that space of kind of giving each other the space that we need to be able to navigate and do the things that we need to do. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, this is a lot of energy I see washing their hands. Why do I see a lot of energy right now coming into divine union and washing their hands to a certain degree? Because this is the energy, and I need to articulate this, and this is why I see that this feels a little bit more frustrating and a little bit more protective for the energy that is coming into divine union. And it has to do with a little bit of that pickiness. Remember the difference between the pickiness that is energetically important. There's a lot of energy that we're seeing right now that is articulating to another that they cannot be energetically picky in relationality to something that is energetically sacred. So if this is the energy that wherein others brought turbulence to them as they were moving deeper into partnership, and someone came into that corrective space, right? And then someone still continues to pick at something after you've clarified it to them. This is the energy that says, get your hand off of it. Don't touch it, because that's the energy that said you cannot pick at something that is energetically sacred, right? That's the articulation of saying, hey, recognize what is and is not energetically like what one can and cannot like touch upon. Because when we build into partnership, that's the energy that we tell others and say that this is sacred, right? So that's why we see that there's a little bit more of this energy right now coming into divine union that feels a bit more pugnacious if that's occurring. And for masculine, again, there may be even a little bit of a disparity in terms of how one is recognizing that. Because I see even now that for the masculine, going back and forth, trying to be working through those emotions. Remember, a lot of that work of the masculine right now, trying to articulate between the emotions that come from the egoic self, the ones that need to be surrendered, right? Because they're just the energy of like trying to heal the egoic shield versus the energy or the emotions that come from this place of sacredness. So we see even now that a lot of that clarity is occurring right now with the masculine trying to control their energetic temper. Right? And that's the energy of the masculine going, where is the emotion coming from? Where is the emotion coming from? While for masculine and feminine, for feminine energy, this is more feminine being very, very focused upon it. I don't see feminine moving back and forth so much between modalities, but feeling very clearly that they see what energetically is happening, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation right now, this is why I see so much closure that's happening. And I just want to give a little space for the energy that's in separation, that's experiencing that. Because I just keep seeing that there's something for some energy in separation right now that has gotten enough distance from something that they can see it clearly. Right? And if you're experiencing that right now in separation, that's exactly the grace I want to give you. When you're navigating something and it's really difficult, sometimes the only way you can see it is if you step away from it. So if you're navigating that and you're seeing something in a way that you haven't before, I want to say to you, with all the profound joy in my heart, congratulations. Because I know that it can feel, I know that you can feel a lot of regret in those moments. But I want you to remember that regret you're feeling, especially for masculine energy, that's wisdom, right? That is, and if you're feeling, and I'm going to say it again, I'm going to keep saying this right now for masculine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. If you're looking back at the past version of yourself right now and you've got notes, congratulations, because you're no longer that person. And you're recognizing and identifying what feels like you're on your healing path. And so we see even now, this is why I see a lot of the masculine potentially in separation, building into connections where they're articulating about the past. Because it's in the moment that the masculine articulates about the past, that the masculine says, it doesn't have a hold on me. I'm not living it. I'm not existing in it. I can talk about it. And for the feminine to experience and see that on the part of the masculine that says, my gift to you, Merry, happy holidays. My gift to you is clarity. My gift to you is clarity on on my clarity is not just the clarity on where we are and what exists between us, but the clarity that I have on myself and the self-awareness that I find within myself that is my gift to you. This is the energy that is healing because they're building in the context of someone that doesn't require guesswork. Because when we're self-aware, we would never give someone the pain of having to guess where we are, because we ourselves are trying to find that, because the gift that we give each other in healthy partnership is clarity as much as we are able. Continuing to get clarification between our Five of Wands in combination with our Two of Wands in its reversal. And this is why I see so much closure here and potentially some volatility that's rising up, even for energy right now in separation. This is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy right now. Again, bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, I'm seeing that this feels like a lot of inner child healing. Right? That's why I see even now, this is the masculine that's learning to recalibrate to their emotions, working through what emotions come from the space of the ego, right? The ones that need to be kind of, subdued, navigated much like you would like a child, versus the energy of the emotions that come from a place of the sacred, which are often the intimate emotions, like the emotions that are hard to articulate upon. For feminine, this is more of that work of this. This may be feeling more energetically destabilizing as you do so, because it's really, I want you to understand and articulate the position that feminine must be in terms of recognizing the further they go from something, the more they can see and the more hesitancy it creates in building trust moving forward. So this is why that journey can be so difficult for feminine, because building trust in every step as you're healing from an experience, where the further you get from it, the more you see how your trust may have been wounded or harmed, the full extent of the damage, if you will. You can see how difficult that is for feminine, because that's the feminine that steps back from something and sees something with more clarity, and then recognizes the anxiety of moving forward in the same direction that caused that harm in the first place. So that's why we see even now, this is a feminine that is articulating and feeling the firmness of those energetic boundaries. But this is the masculine that says to feminine, even as they do so, I understand and recognize why that is bringing why those revelations, why those insights are bringing that feeling of energetic trepidation to you as you move forward from them. So we see even now a lot of that energy healing in profound ways, even as they build into those energetic connections. But it's a lot of unpacking. And this is the energy that doesn't hold it in, doesn't become reactive to it, but articulates through it. For masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, this is what I'm seeing even now. Some of this bittersweet energy right now that is building into the heart of some of these energetic connections. This is why, if this is the energy that is articulated to another, the preciousness of that connection, if this is why I keep hearing the energy say you get once. You get one chance there. Because that's the space of the energy that says, when we articulate to another that we're not moving into something to fix it, but it's already been fixed, that sense or space of another holding it as sacred as we ourselves hold it. This is an energy that tries to convince another of that if they don't experience it. They just build into that state of like learning to energetically surrender. But this isn't the energy that says surrender like give up. This is the energy that recognizes that the identification point of what we prioritize or what we choose to control or how we try to control something. This is the energy that says, I don't want to try to convince you to hold something energetically sacred that you should just identify and recognize, right? Like that's the space that says that like our own way of navigating like frames how we address it. So we see even now that there's a lot of that energy that is letting go of those experiences or those circumstances or situations wherein someone isn't coming towards them in a supportive way, or someone is upset to see masculine healing from an inner child wound, right? This always happens. This is the part of the maturation process that often occurs that can be very painful, is those moments when we recognize that when we've moved forward on our journey, if someone felt very comfortable with where they found us, if they're not able to recognize and feel that sense of joy as we proceed forward, sometimes we have to let that be a moment or modality wherein we move away from them. And I see that that's the energy that is not doing that from a state of bitterness, but they're doing it with a sense of compassion for the self and for those around them that they may be experiencing some of that turbulence between. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, I just keep seeing a little bit of this energy that's in hermit mode. I know we haven't seen the hermit card come up, but everything I'm reading right now for a lot of these cards feels like this energy in hermit mode, because you can see even now, this is masculine and feminine in different modalities, focusing on different things, but being in very close proximity to one another. Masculine moving back and forth between work and play today. Feminine being a lot more driven, a lot more focused today and trying to get things done. But again, the beauty of a harmonious connection is you don't always have to be singing the same notes. You could just build the sense of support in relationality to what you've created between oneself. Continuing to get clarification between our 8 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 3 of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. The Moon card. Okay, this is intriguing. Now, let's talk about this a little bit, because, like the thing with this Moon card, thank you. This is the black, this is the new moon. This is the black moon that we're talking about. This is that new moon energy. We're feeling a lot of this right now in anticipation of the new moon energy. So as I want to keep saying, and this I'm gonna reiterate this because I've been talking a lot about this ever since we had the Gemini full moon. Okay, why are we seeing this specifically? Because the thing about the Gemini full moon, and now especially because we've got the double new moon, if you're feeling like you're switching back and forth a lot, like emotionally, if you're feeling like you're going back and forth between feeling very grounded to be like, what is happening? Feeling very grounded to be like, what is happening? I want to stress that is still a bit of that Gemini full moon that we're still experiencing, right? And even here, we've got a lot of that same energy that's happening with the fact that we have that same duality that's occurring with the double new moons that we're also experiencing right now, because this is our second new moon. So a lot of that feeling of potentially moving back and forth between feeling grounded and unstable, right? Like bouncing back and forth, like feeling like everything's fine and then being like, what's happening? Feeling everything's fine and then going, what's happening? A lot of that is still a lot of that energy of like, it's like the remnant of the Sagittarian energy with the Gemini, which is very inventive. And I was describing it as like wacky. You know, like when we were experiencing it the other week, it was just like wacky energy. So it's still there, you know, like it's still there. And that's why it's really important. And especially with the Mars in retrograde, it's really important that like if you're experiencing that, be like, did I feel like this 5 minutes ago? No. Okay, this will pass. Like just let your intention guide you forward through it, right? Now, for a lot of this energy, and I see that this is happening a lot for the energy in separation. For a lot of the energy in separation, I just keep getting these like waves of anxiety that may be arising right now as a result. And I got to say this is what happens when we're healing wounds of trust. Like a lot of this energy, being able to recognize what it is that they're healing from, has those moments of saying like, am I energetically safe here? Is this happening again? Am I moving into the modality wherein I experienced that hurt in the first place? To which point I'm going to say emphatically to you, are you the same person you were in those experiences? Are you seeing things the same way? Are you making the same choices? Are you prioritizing yourself the same way that you did? If the answer is no, then it is not happening again. You're just feeling the waves of healing and building upon trust, right? But when we have changed, we don't go through the same experiences again. That's why we say it's important not to allow the past to dictate how we move in the present. Because when we allow the past to dictate how we move in the present, we move away from our intentionality and we allow the past to repeat itself, right? And that's why we see even now there's a lot of the energy right now in separation that is articulating and saying, my past does not define me. It refines me. The past helps me have clarity in relationality to what I see before me, but I don't allow the past to change the intentionality of my actions. So there's a lot of healing right now, but there's also a lot of shadow work that potentially is happening right now for a lot of the energy in separation. So I'm going to say again, don't be reactive. If you're feeling that, articulate through it. Don't react to it. For a lot of this energy right now, coming into divine union, that sense or that space of frustration or experiencing some of that turbulence, if you will. Is this the energy trying to chase after someone to get to the bottom of something? Why someone might be feeling upset or trepidatious about seeing someone move deeper into partnership? No. Like this is the energy that like basically like it's like even here, like this is the energy that says, and I can see the energy saying, it's a shame. Right? Like that's the energy says they're disappointed in it, but they're not pursuing it. right? Because this is the energy that says when we're moving into divine union and someone is upset about it, we don't go chasing after the dark after them to figure out the reason why, because this is the energy that articulates and says that that directionality isn't impacted upon another person's, like this isn't the energy that concentrates on another as they're moving deeper into partnership with like a prioritization. This is the energy that says to another, if that's not clarity that's brought forth, this isn't the energy that is investing themselves in pursuing it, because this is the energy that recognizes what feels like it is a priority versus what feels like it would move them off of their own course of direction in terms of what they're building with another. So we see even now, like a lot of that energy articulating to another and saying, that wasn't my intention. And even in that experience, finding healing, even in the moment that they might not feel like they have full clarity as to why they're experiencing that turbulence in the first place. Continuing to get clarification for a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union. This is more of that hermit energy that I'm seeing right now for the energy within divine union. It's so funny because the hermit card isn't here, but even it's fun. I like to point this out, and I'll point this out sometimes when I'm doing private classes, and we're going to talk about this a bit when we teach the hermit class on January 15th. Some cards don't like to come out in the deck, and the hermit card, ironically, sometimes I will read and the hermit card will be in the reading, but the hermit card isn't coming out. Why isn't the hermit card coming out? Because it's hermit energy. Like, the hermit card coming out would be like, it's the embodiment of the, like, this is the embodiment of the hermit card without the hermit card coming out, which is very ironic. Continuing to get clarification between our Three of Pentacles in combination with our Page of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now in the Knight of Cups in its reversal. So for a lot of this energy right now, a lot of the energy in separation, this is like the harmony that we experience, like the harmony of healthy partnership is that you don't lose solitude. You don't lose the gift of solitude being in healthy partnership. In some ways, you find a deeper solitude, right? Because it's that sense of being separate, but not being separate in that togetherness, right? I just see a lot of this energy right now, like sharing space, but doing so in a very different way. Because this is the energy that just feels the embodiment of sharing space with one another, that is like feeling the collective energy of security that you create with another, but not necessarily needing to be on top of each other every single moment, right? Like, especially because we see even now that this energetic frequency is bringing out different qualities and characteristics in masculine and feminine energy. Again, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, this is the energy, I can see the energy saying, I care, right? If this is something that is painful, you can see why this is something that is bittersweet. Because I can see even now there's some energy that's potentially moving deeper into divine union, and they're going through a grieving process of letting others go that might not be in alignment with seeing them in partnership. And I can see even now, like, there's a little bit of that sadness that's being expressed here, because this is the energy that says if that's creating a space in another, this is the energy that articulates and says it wasn't the intention. But they also, and they're not getting full clarification because they're not pursuing something to understand it deeper. But there's a lot of that energy that says, like, that modality or that moment, it feels like, I see here, like, it feels sad. It feels energetically lonely, because this is the energy that recognizes that sometimes in that journey of moving deeper into partnership, there's a little bit of that shift that happens in relationality to how others navigate that, right? And it's not, and I can see even now for some of those energies, it's not damaging the really strong energetic partnerships. But for some of the ones that feel like they were more fragile and weak, it might be having a more deleterious impact. And that's painful to observe. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, the deeper they go, the harder it is. I can see a lot of this energy right now that's working on some deep shadow work right now, because simply and particularly because what we're effectively identifying is this is a lot of this energy in separation that is realizing the extent of a wound that was created via past connection in the amplification of how healthy something that they're creating currently with another is, right? And that's why we often experience those moments that we say, why am I moving towards something that feels healthy and it hurts more? Because this is the energy that's learning how to feel again. And that ability of learning how to feel again and learning that it's safe to feel. Sometimes the first thing that you feel when you start to feel again is ow, like ow. Like this is a lot of energy that's having the opportunity to say ow for the first time, because they're finding someone in alignment with them where they can unpack just how deep that wound was, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Page of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal. May I have one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Eight of Swords in its reversal. So this is beautiful. There's a lot of release that's happening right now. There's a lot of release, karmic release that's happening right now. And that's happening across all the frequencies. Very impactful right now. Very profound for energy that is in separation, and very profound for the energy coming into divine union. For the energy right now deep within divine union, this is more feeling like a sense of restiveness, right? Like that same feeling of someone letting it go. It just may feel more from a point of exhaustion today, or desiring rest, because often sometimes we experience that if energy in other parts of the frequency are doing a lot of work, like one part of the frequency will kind of feel a little bit of that collective exhaustion to allow the energy to get the work out. So I can see even now, like I can see a lot of the energy deep within divine union being like, why do I feel so tired all of a sudden? It's like, because everybody in the other frequencies is letting stuff go. It's like whoosh, like that. Continuing to get clarification between Moon card in its upright in combination with our Knight of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification, I love it, coming through right now with our King of Swords in its upright. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, I just gotta say, I just see a lot of masculine energy that is having some beautiful, beautiful work that's occurring right now in relationality to the emotional authenticity, the vulnerability that you're bringing forth in new energetic partnerships. And I just got to congratulate a lot of the masculine energy that's doing this work, because I can see even now it feels like you're taking your armor off when you want to put it on, right? There's a lot of this energy that just, I keep on hearing the masculine in separation saying, I have to come towards feminine from my most authentic self so that they can love me there. Because when I don't, when I create that sense or that space of an illusion or creating an energetic illusion, this is the masculine that says, I don't want to create a false sense of self that then the feminine falls for, and then I have to hide behind, right? This is the masculine saying, I'm doing this work of trying to be my authentic self. And that's not the masculine being like, take it or leave it. This is the masculine that says, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the self-awareness. I'm proud of the emotionality. Because this is the masculine that says, it's messy, but it's me. And for the feminine that sees the masculine that does that work, that isn't coming towards feminine from a place of illusion, but is trying to articulate to feminine how they truly feel. This is the feminine that says to the masculine in that modality, I've never seen someone as strong. The feminine does not find the rigid, rough exterior of masculine to be strong, because that's an energetic illusion. This is the falsity that we've created with Stoicism. Stoicism is not pretending you don't feel anything. Stoicism is the ability to feel everything and not react to it, but to articulate through it. So we see even now there's a lot of masculine energy that is finding that strength, and they're finding energetic counterparts in that space, because this is the masculine that says, when I am weak, I become strong. When I am vulnerable, I become protective. When I can be my authentic self to the feminine knows that they are safe with me, because I have mastered my own emotionality. And for the feminine that exceeds that, I just see even now a lot of this energy in the moment that they meet someone that can find that. And for the feminine, this is the feminine that says, I go through that process of emotionality. I don't just give the emotions to the masculine and say that they're your problem. This is the feminine that says, I navigate my own emotions and articulate through them. I give the masculine the clarity of what my emotions are asking for. So these are the energies that are giving each other the gift of clarity, and they're building something incredibly strong in the process. But even as they do so, it hurts because they're remembering everything that they experienced before this. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, this is why the energy is so protective. I feel like there's been a whole period leading up between when they started moving deeper into divine union till now, that has felt like an education point and letting others know what has occurred. And even here, potentially correcting another that felt like they were articulating or poking at something with their best interests at heart. And if this is the energy that has already articulated that, yet still they're feeling some kind of pushback, this is the energy that says, step back. You're not being respectful. You're not holding something sacred in the way that you need to hold it sacredly, right? And so this is the energy that says to others, you can move forward with us, but you have to hold something sacred in the same way. And this is the energy that recognizes who and what can do that and who they're letting go of along the way. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, I just see that a lot of this energy deep within divine union, like a lot of this back and forth here today. Like I just see even now, especially for masculine, this is a lot of the masculine energy I see deep within divine union, moving back and forth between work and play. And if there's a lot of this, it's rapid, because I see even now it's because of the Gemini full moon, but now we've got that new moon, right? So it's a lot of this work, play that's happening here. And for a lot of the feminine, this is just work. There's a lot of focus that we see that is occurring right now for feminine, but this is why it's a little bit of hermit energy for the energy deep within divine union, because you're giving each other space to be in the mood that you're occupying that may feel a little counterintuitive to where you may find yourself at this time. Next card, between our Knight of Cups and its reversal in combination with our Eight of Swords in its reversal. One card to clarify. We've got here, we love it. We've got our Six of Wands in its upright. So, and this is even here, I need to point out, this is why for masculine and feminine right now, this is the difference of doing something that creates a feeling of pleasure or creates a feeling of success. For masculine right now, that feeling of pleasure is being able to mix work and play right now, being able to come into that space of doing something and having some kind of healthy or restorative balance to a certain degree, right? While for feminine right now, that feeling of success is just getting a lot of stuff done, right? Like knocking things off. So we see even now, for both of these energies, this is both of the energies feeling like they're utilizing their day effectively, but also giving another the space to do so in a way that feels like it's supportive to them. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, this is the energy that says you need to hold something precious if you want to proceed. This is why the energy is protective, because this is the energy that articulates and states to others, you're able to come forward. You can proceed as long as you hold something preciously. And that's why even now, if there's something that someone has articulated and tried to explain to another and they're still poking at it, I told you a bit of that Gemini energy, not matching the energy, not chasing after someone to get clarity, right? Not getting distracted, but saying, recognize what you can poke at and recognize what you can't, right? A little bit of that sense of caution here. But that's the protectiveness of someone saying it's not, and if someone else is saying you're being picky, being it's not picky, it's important, right? While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is in separation, everything I see here, and this is why this work is so fundamental right now during this Mars retrograde, because this is not energy that is proceeding forward right now into partnership because they have confidence. It's the opposite. This is energy that is working and letting their intentionality guide them in the direction that felt like it caused the harm in the first place. But what occurs in those moments that we let our intention guide us, that we do something again, if you will, right? Even if we didn't experience success the first time. This is the difference that we offer to the universe that says, okay, now I get to show, like, was your intention pure? Now I get to show you what would have happened with someone that actually cared. Now I get to show you what would have happened with someone that shared your same intentionality, right? And that's why I'm going to keep saying during this retrograde cycle, don't let the past define you. Allow it to refine you. Let that power of observation guide you in terms of how another reacts to you versus what it is that you desire from them. And that here, I see even now, this is a lot of energy that is utilizing that and feeling that gift of being able to articulate upon the past, because this is the difficult past that is lighting the way in through the darkness of the present. Final card in today's spread between our King of Swords in its upright in combination with our Six of Wands in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming right now with the Knight of Pentacles right on the verge of this Capricorn black moon. Stability is not something that you need. Stability is not a pipe dream. Stability is not a wish. And I see even now that one of the big things that's happening for some of this energy and separation is, if these are experiences in the past where someone was feeling that weight of saying, I wish, I hope, I long for the day something becomes stable with another. I just keep seeing that there's a lot of this energy that recognizes that stability is not a pipe dream. Stability is something that we prioritize and we create for one another from day one. And so for a lot of this energy, I just see for a lot of this energy in separation, that sense or that space of creating stability, that stability is an intentional gift they're giving one another. Because this isn't the energy that says, I wish I could find something stable, but then doesn't show any ability of doing so. This is the energy that says, I don't wish to find something stable. This is the energy that says, I bring stability with me in partnership. It is the gift I bring. And when I'm building in healthy partnership, it is returned to me via the healthy counterpart. So this is the energy that says stability is not a wish. It's something that we create. It's something that we're manifesting. And that is the gift that we give to each other. Because in the moment that we give another stability, we allow them the opportunity to bring it forth to us in the process. And if they don't, then that sense of discernment is enough to move away from something, because it's not the observation of saying, I don't understand why I'm giving stability to something and they're not bringing it back to me. This is the energy that says, if I give someone stability and they don't return it in the same way, if they don't return that stability in the same condition that they found the stability, then they may say that they want stability, but they don't have the ability to create that, right? And so we see even now that's a lot of energy that's feeling that in the present, and it's giving them much better clarity of the past. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, this is the energy that is basically saying, I've said what I've said. This is sacred. And there's no means of, I can see even now there's a lot of energy saying there's no means of misunderstanding. And so even there, if someone is pushing back in the same way after clarity is given, this is the energy that builds into that context of seeing what is being said between, like what to read between the lines, or what another person's intentionality is, or just creating energetic distance because it's like you're saying something to someone, but it's like they're not hearing it, right? And this is the energy saying, I can't tell if this person is being obtuse or intentional, but it doesn't matter because it's all the same in the wash, right? While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is deep within divine union, this is a lot of that energy. I just keep seeing getting as much done as possible while also creating a sense of stability. I keep hearing like work-life balance to a certain extent, working in that space of a groove, right? And for masculine and feminine right now, that groove is a little bit different. But that's the beauty of being in healthy partnership, is like even giving someone the space to find their groove. Like that's the gift that we give each other. And this is why we see even now like masculine more in that space of potentially moving back and forth. Feminine is being much more tangible and practical today, trying to get things done. Bottom of the deck on today's reading is we've got here our 5 of Swords in its upright, and we're going to just experience this right now. It's the time of year. A lot of nostalgia coming into play, right? A lot of this energy and recognition and identification of looking at the past. We have energy like this that comes up a lot, especially during like the closing of the year, right? So I want you to remember right now, I don't want you to get overwhelmed by any feelings of regret that you may be experiencing. And again, especially with this Mars in retrograde energy, don't let the past define you. Let it refine you. If there's something you're frustrated about with the past, I don't want you to put your head down. I want you to put your head up. I want to say, okay, I'm not happy with that. This is what I'm going to do going forward to make sure that that doesn't occur again. That bothered me last year. This is what we're going to do to fix it. Don't let that feel like there's a perpetuity in terms of experiencing that and not being able to get out of it. Remembering the beauty of identifying an obstacle. The first step in overcoming it is identifying it. So if you're feeling that frustration point, or you're feeling frustrated on something that you haven't gotten done, and I'm going to say this again for both masculine and feminine, this is going to be bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. These are the mantras right now for masculine and feminine. Masculine energy, you are always on time. You can never be late for your own journey. Okay? Feminine, you are getting stronger every day. You are getting stronger every day. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. My private readings are done over video. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings for the day. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Strength card. Our next tarot class will be held on Wednesday, January 15th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Hermit card. We will be studying the symbiology, the history of that card. I will show you its application in all directions that you may find it in a spread. I will also be offering you a unique card spread that you can find that will help you channel the energy of the Hermit card. And all you need to do, if you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, is head over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber at gracestrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You'll also have access to the full Tarot Church library of classes. So if you're just joining us, you've got a perfect opportunity to catch up now. We've got about 9 hours worth of material there for you as a subscriber. It's not necessary for you to catch up for each class. I will be giving a recap in every class on what we've studied thus far. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've learned thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things I tried to do with these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone, regardless of your level. I want to thank you if you're already joining us there, and for the first time. And I look forward to seeing you at our next class. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, make sure that you head over to our subscriber-only Discord channel that is available as one of your perks as a TikTok subscriber. There you will find a special coupon code that will give you an additional discount to that Substack subscription. Even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings, services. I post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about our in-person events as well as our online live schedule. You'll also be notified as to our giveaway information. And speaking about giveaways, we've announced the winner of our November giveaway. Congratulations to our winner. We are going to be, and also finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are personalized to everybody, each individual's personal growth or spiritual practice goals. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.